Justin is, like I said, he's a shaken baby survivor, and he was born in 1986. His mom had gone back to work when he was about 6 weeks old because they were a young couple having a hard time, and already I'm getting blurred looking at you. They were having a hard time, so she felt like she needed to go back to work, and she went back to work on the graveyard shift so Dad could watch him because he had a day job, and that way she could, you know, they could kind of rotate and save a little money. Well, one morning about 7 o'clock, she got a call that she needed to come home. Something had happened to her baby, and she actually needed to come to the hospital. And when she got there, he was on life support. They were getting him ready to send him to Richmond on life flight. And, you know, things were just falling apart. Her husband was crying and all this other kind of stuff. And 2 days later, after he'd been in the hospital, the doctor came in and told us this, his husband had actually told us it was a fall, that he fell off the bed. And 2 days later, the doctor came in and he says, this did not come from a fall. He said it came from violent, repetitive shaking. And, of course, one thing led to another from that, and Justin spent 30 days in the hospital at MCV. Then they sent him to Children's Hospital, and he spent 30 days there. While he was at MCV, he had a brain bleed. He had a stroke. They had to put a Ventric in the brain to drain the fluid off, and then they put him on a rotating bed, and all of these things, you know, was to keep him going, because it was very critical. I mean, we spent days and nights at the hospital. All the time we went home was to swap and go home to get clothes. But he went through a lot in his younger childhood. He had lots of therapy. He did have one surgery where he had a lazy eye from all of that, and they had to correct that. But all during his life, he was a fighter. He fought, you know, while he was in the hospital. He fought whenever he was having therapy. He overcome a lot of barriers. He was 4 years old when he finally was able to sit by himself up, you know, without supports. And so he actually started going to school at the CP Center. They wanted to put him in school in Hopewell, and whenever I saw what they had to offer, we said, no, we want to look at other options, and we did. We went around and looked at different places, and at that time the CP Center seemed like it would be a good place for him because they gave intensive therapy, and that's kind of what I was looking at. And there was a teacher that I went to in Petersburg, and she says, look hard at the CP Center. She was telling me that was a good choice for him at that time. Well, there he had a lot of therapy, and I saw kids riding around in, you know, power wheelchairs, and I said, you know, I want Justin to have one of those. And so I had a therapist to kind of work with him a little bit, and she said, oh, he'll never learn. I said, yes, he will. So we went and borrowed a wheelchair, and we used to go to empty parking lots in the daytime and at night, and he went backwards for a long time. But he finally got the hang of it. We actually started out with switches so he could learn to maneuver left, right, and forward. We didn't. That's after we found out he couldn't go backwards. But anyway, he learned to drive a power wheelchair, and he got his first one when he was about 6. And he's a good driver. He just sometimes likes for us to drive, especially when he's tired. He'll let us know. We'll say, do you want us to drive, or do you want to drive? But he's a very good driver. He gets around, you know, good. He can maneuver in and out of tight places. It takes a lot of pride in that. But let me look at my notes so I don't forget nothing. I'm old and I do forget a lot. But anyway, actually while he was in school, we kind of became diligent in thinking about what we wanted him to be able to do. We had him in classrooms that, well, as he, you know, he was into elementary school, but he actually went into the private school in, I think it was 98. I mean, not private school, but public school. And as he went along, we wanted to find something that he could do, so we had him in a class that was supposed to teach them job skills as he got older. And while the other kids were in there learning to fill out applications and learning to write checks, he's sitting over in the corner doing nothing. So I went to the school, you know, meeting the first time we had one, and I asked the teacher, I said, well, what do you see for Justin for the future in your class? And she said, well, I don't know, we never had one like him before. Well, you know, that was me into that class. So anyway, we went, actually we had him in a reading class too, and the reading teacher said, well, I went to him and I said, well, what do you see for him in your class? He says, well, I don't know. He said, but let me look at some things. So he sent us home one day this book that looked like a geography book and a tape player, and he says, have him to listen to this tape and follow the words in this book, words that I didn't even pronounce half the time. He couldn't read. So how's he going to listen to the tape player and follow the book, the words in the book? So that was the end of the reading class. And I mean, this was a regular class because we were trying to do inclusion, and we did have some luck in some of the classes, but we was trying to find something in the school that he could do that would be like a job. So we went to the principal and we talked to her about something for him to do, and we came up with the idea of having him to make the morning announcements using his communication device and to carry messages from the teachers to the different classes. Well, the first time that we went in and did the first announcement, he had a Dynavox at that time, and if any of you have ever seen a Dynavox, it's about this big and about that thick, and it talks robotic. And so we go in, and the school's office had windows all around it, so I had to go in and help him out that morning and get everything set up for him. And when it came over the loudspeaker, people were in the hall, and it was really comical because you look and they said, "What in the world is that?" You know. But anyway, they all got used to it. He did it every morning, and it kind of also gave him a reason to want to get up in the mornings and go, because he was like any other teenager. He kind of wanted to lay in the bed in the mornings. But he would go and do that, and he'd carry the messages and to the different people. And during that time, people got to know him, because you know how they stick our kids back in the corner or back in the back of the school. People got to know him from being in the halls, from doing the announcement, and started speaking to him. And you know, the girls especially, he loved that. He would stop in the middle of the hall and talk to, you know, show the girls his shoes. Show how you show them your shoes. Yeah, there you go. He's a big fan of pretty shoes, and he would stop in the hall, and that would be his communication, you know, thing of starting a conversation with them. But the aides there told me, said, "Boy, he knows which girls are pretty, because he'll stop and talk to all of them." But and he's laughing about it too. But they all got to know him. He went to 3 of his proms and had a beautiful date each time. And during that time, though, we felt like he needed to learn to do something away from school. So we kind of had another IEP meeting, and we invited DRS, and which I think is DARS now. But anyway, they, you know, between them and us, we convinced the school to contract with an outside group to come in and do some situational assessments and help Justin find a job that might be suited for him. So they took him. One of the job assessments, actually, they didn't take him. We had to take him, because as you can see, the power wheelchair that's going to get folded up and put in a car, so you got to go with a van that is accessible. So anyway, we took him. The first one he went to was office, and they had a back room where he would be stuffing envelopes, you know, with all these different little things. And he succeeded, but it was so slow, and it was not something that he was enjoying. They didn't hire him because this was just an assessment, but because of the fact that it isolated him, and that his fine motor skills weren't good enough, we didn't feel that was a good fit. So then we tried a radio station. This radio station still used cassettes. Of course, you know, they've kind of gone now, but his job there would have been to erase the cassettes so they could use them over, and they had this great big machine. And they took him in, and he tried that, and that really didn't work for him either. So anyway, his DRS counselor actually made the first contact with Panera, and he set up an appointment. We went to the interview. I hear your appointment. He likes to listen. He's all up in your conversation, everything you say. If you notice his gestures, he may not be touching that machine, but he's going to be up in your conversation. But anyway, when we went to the interview, his school aide went with us, and she actually has to go, or someone had to go, because you have to set it up for him. You've got to, you know, put things in place. If he needs something, you have to, you know, help him with that. And so she went with us. We got there, and we waited and waited, and the DRS counselor didn't show up. So I called him. He says, "Oops, I forgot." So I figured that had blown the whole thing. And anyway, he came. He got there in about 10 or 15 minutes, and Justin had his interview minutes. He had his interview, and they said, "Okay," said, "we'll let you know." So No, he'll let you know. He's telling y'all all about it. So anyway, a couple months went by and we figured, well, that's the end of that. And then they called and said, we want you to come and start in January. So he did, yes. And they actually created a position for Justin. He's a greeter there. And they actually took their training hours, or some of them, to pay Justin. And Justin, yes, this Justin. We have a lot of sign language, we all know it. But anyway, they took the training hours to pay him, and he apparently was doing a decent job because corporate got some nice messages from it. They got emails and calls, and one day corporate called and said, who is this person that you've got sitting at the door that's greeting people? Yeah, in a wheelchair. So they told them, and they said, well, we're going to give you back those training hours because we want you to, continue this because we're getting a lot of good positive feedback from it. And Justin has had really good experiences there. He loves attention. He's very social. This is the right fit for Justin because he does not like being put off in the back corner. I mean, even at home, the kitchen table is where he likes to be. He likes to drive back and forth in the living room and the kitchen and all, but he wants to be where everything's going on. He's nosy too. Nosy. Can you tell them what you say at Panera Bread when somebody comes through the door? Not that one, the other one. Oh, don't tell me what to do.
Hi there. Welcome to Panera Bread.
What do you say when they leave?
Goodbye. Thanks for coming to Panera Bread today.
Another thing, he got his 5-year pin last year. He got a plaque and a watch. Show him your watch. Hold it up high. There it is. He's pointing to it. And he got a certificate thanking him for his 5 years of service, and he's working on his 6th year this year. Isn't it 6 this year? So in January he'll be there 6 years. And
January 7th. This is
7. Okay. Sorry, I messed up. But anyway, he's had a lot of neat experiences while he was there. We've had a man come in one day and wanted to write him a check because he felt sorry for him because he was working, or had to work. That was the way he put it. And when he was told that it was not about the work, it's about being a part of the community, the guy felt good about it. But sometimes people don't know, and they look and say, oh, he's so pitiful that he's having to be up here and work. And then we had another incident where 3 soldiers came in one day, and Justin has this thing about showing him his hat or telling you he needs a haircut. Show him what you do when you, yeah, there you go. They thought he was saluting them. They all stood to attention and saluted him. And of course, he just laughed out loud. He loved it because he had control right then. And Justin does like to have control. As you can see, don't tell me what to do. But anyway, some other things we've had, he's met a lot of people that have recognized him away from there. We were in Disney World, and there was people there that said, oh, I know you, you work at Panera Bread. And of course, he loved that. We were in Short Pump one day, walking around in the shopping area, and somebody told him there, oh, you work at Panera Bread, I've seen you. And the police officers all come in, all of them know him. Don't matter which city it is around our area, they all know Justin. And yes, that's Justin. But the unique experiences that he's had with seeing people in the community and that they know him and appreciate him for what he does, I think gives him a feeling of self-esteem. It makes him feel like he belongs in the community. And I have a real concern that if he were in a workshop or something of that nature, that he really wouldn't be doing anything because he is limited as to what he can do. And most of the workshops too, you have to be able to go to the bathroom by yourself, so he's not going to get up and do that. And it's just, it was never my vision for him to be there. I always wanted him to be out in the community doing things that he likes to do. Now, he loves to go. He's like Brooke. He likes music. He listens to music day and night when he's not working. He listened to it when he was working, if they'd let him. Another thing that's happened in his life by being at Panera, he met a young man who's a runner. He works at, I don't know where the guy works, to be truthful with you, but he is with United Athletics, which is a kind of, I guess it's kind of a new group. And he asked her one day, he says, do you think Justin would like running in a 5K or a 10K? And she said, well, we can try it. And they have these little buggy things. What do they call them? It's like a buggy. It's like a jogging stroller, but it's a little more elaborate. This was his first race. This was the turkey trot last Thanksgiving Day. Of course, you see, we had to wrap Justin up because he gets sick easy. But he had a blast. They said when they would run by, that they would holler, hey, say hi to Justin. And everybody would hi, you know, and everything. And they come across the finish line, and he was happy. And since then, they've been in several other races. They were at Deltaville about 2 weeks ago at the 5K. They did the Monument 10K. They did the, what's that, the other one, the one did at Pony Pasture. The Pony Pasture. We did,
Pony Pasture 5K.
Yeah, we did Pony Pasture 5K. Was it last weekend? That getting up at 5 o'clock that kills me, I'm telling you. Them people are serious. They are out there before daylight, ready to run. And of course, I'm dragging, and our bodies don't match none of them that's out there, you know. But anyway, he loves it. He loves the people. He likes the attention, and he's included. He's not segregated. He's included with people who are all doing something that everyday people do, and he's out there doing it as well. And you know, he enjoys it. He'll spring right out of bed when he's knowing he's going to a race.
When he ran the 10K,
I heard you were there.
Yeah. I actually ran the 10K.
Yeah.
Was he in the walk group, or was he in?
They run pushing
The
him.
running group.
He has a team.
His team is one of the fastest.
They can't hear you. They can't hear you.
The team that he's on with United Athletics is actually one of the fastest running teams that United Athletics has. And they actually done the 10K in 47 minutes.
And one of the nicest things that has come of it, his boss, his manager has become a runner because of Justin. His wife told him that she never thought he would be running. It's been a very positive experience for Justin working at Panera, because not only has he made friends, friends have come to him, and it's changed his life in other ways. And I only hope that anybody who really wants to work has that same opportunity that Justin has had and has such a good experience. And my advice is that don't ever give up. Be creative of what you can do and not what you can't do. Think about things that you can do, and just, you know, put it out there in someone's mind. I even know a lady that actually went out and looked for jobs for her son, and she ended up finding a job for him being a flagger out on the road, you know, where the, of course he's not in a wheelchair, but he was out on the road doing the flagging, you know, where they work on the roads. And I mean, there's always something that people with disabilities can do, no matter how significant their disability is. Just, you can see, I mean, you know, Justin has limited skills, but he knows what's happening around him, and if he's in the mood, he will do a lot of things. But he also he's just like anybody else. He likes to have control. And just like he likes me, don't tell me what to do, right? No, I was going to get to that. I actually have to transport him, because where we live, they just got bus service, but it doesn't really drop you off at Panera Bread, so he can't really cross the busy street. But he does have to have someone to go with him when he's there, because if he should need to use the restroom, he needs assistance. Whenever he has to have somebody to take this out of his backpack and set it up and turn it on for him. And, you know, and if he needs something to drink or something, you know, he needs that. But he sits right inside the door, and people come in all day long. And during the holidays, we program into his Dynavox about the breads that they have, because, you know, they have really special good breads around Christmas. And she also raises his chair up so he's more at eye level with people when they come in, and he likes that. But whenever they're doing the holiday breads, people be standing in line waiting for lunch, and he's telling them all about all the nuts and cranberries and all the good stuff that's in it. Of course, it makes your mouth drool, and they go over and buy the bread, and they sell out of it many days when he's in there talking about it. So that's a good thing. At least it shows that he's doing a good job.
Something else about the chair as far as being at work, the chair he had before this one didn't raise up, and I noticed a lot more people would come in and walk past him, and they would be like looking around, where did that noise come from? Like they thought it was coming out of the speakers overhead. That he was saying welcome. Since he's been in this chair, there's, I would say, at least 80% more eye contact and people acknowledging him doing his job and thanking him for welcoming them into the store.
He has some people that are regulars that come in. He actually has one family that has moved since to California, and when they come back for a visit, they make it a point to come by to see Justin. Yeah, with Travis, right? And but he's enjoyed it there. They treat him good. All the girls and the boys too that work there always make it a point to come over and speak to him. The manager comes over and speaks to him and teases him many times about something if he's not wanting to get up and come to work. I mean, once he's there, he's fine. But he's just one of those kids that likes to, as I said, be in control. But they're good about that. If he gets sick, they don't complain because, especially in the wintertime, he gets sick fairly easy, and they're good about that. And he couldn't ask for a better place to work and better people to work with.